Nothing. A classic. A fishing hat, which not so long ago I thought was extremely hideous. But now, I am the master of all rods, the ruler of the river and the goddess of the water! And what's more, I'm looking good. That's me and fishing done. I've reached my peak. I wonder if trees regard a carpenter as the bogeyman. It's not nice, but I'll have to find out. One can easily fell a tree with the help of an axe and wedges. In my experience, nothing beats a sharp saw guided by two men. Slish, slash! The teeth of the saw bite into the wood, and in a few minutes, even the largest tree tumbles to the ground. After this, the smaller branches and the bark are removed from the trunk using hatchets. Once the tree is sawn into several pieces, it's ready to be transported away. Wow, I feel a bit dirty. It'll be all right, you'll see. The only thing I can say in my defence is that is what a weeping willow is meant to look like. Hey, there's a rainbow. Since the willow's branches are hanging down for some inexplicable reason, the sun is able to shine directly onto the waterfall again and is now producing a pretty rainbow over the garden. Others will judge whether it was worth traumatising the willow for this, but the rainbow certainly adds a certain je ne sais quoi. Nate once said that rainbows never touch the earth. Wilbur wouldn't believe him. Let's see who was right. Nate once said that... I don't know what I could ask. pot of gold, and no grumpy leprechaun protecting it. What a stroke of luck. Hey, Cheap. I have the pot of gold here. Go on, take it to the stud. Oh, I realise it's too heavy. I won an arm wrestling contest against an orc warrior in Seastone with the help of a strength elixir. We could get something like that for you. I'll be back. Pa?
Yes, Poppet?
Hypothetically, if Cheep Cheep had to transport something heavy through the air, how could I help him do it?
You could ask me to give him the necessary strength, which you have just done, have you not?
Really?
Of course, but the effect would not last long enough to transport you to, let's say, Seastone.
He doesn't need to do that. It's just a short distance.
All right, bring me some sunflower seeds.
What exactly do you want to do with the sunflower seeds?
You'll see. It will make Cheep Cheep strong enough to carry even a heavy load for a short while.
I have a few sunflower seeds. Here.
Good. Keep still.
That's it.
Just give Cheep Cheep these seeds to eat shortly before he starts on his journey.
Thanks. Whatever you did to those sunflower seeds looked like magic to me.
Oh no, it was the opposite of magic. Nature, life, pure life.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
Listen to the wind in the willows and the mole and the toad. They know the answer.
I've got quite a lot to think about.
Goodbye, little daughter.
See you later, Father. Father's changed the sunflower seeds. Well, can you feel anything? Now, don't exaggerate. Okay, here. Oh, I hope it works. But what's he going to be like when he's super cheap? He's got enough of an exaggerated opinion of himself as it is. Oh, that's overdoing it a bit. It's really in there, is it? Our hippogriff? Why did the stud put it in there? Couldn't they have just let it fly back with you? You mean it was in the box already? You didn't actually see it? Huh, I'd love to have your trust. Oh well, at least it's pretty lively. Cheap Cheap blind purchased the hippogriff. His trust in the Aculeus stud is far greater than his mistrust of humankind's capacity to deceive. Relax, I'm on it. You've still got the receipt, haven't you, Cheap? Cheap? Didn't the hippogriff in the magazine look a bit different to this? Bigger, a bit more griff and a bit less hippo? Is this the effect of the epidemic? Mother said it changed things. Do you think that this was once a proud battle hippogriff? Wonder if the little fella can even carry me as far as Seastone. I'm in a hurry and the odds of me being able to get another mode of transport are very unlikely. For all we know, all the hippogriffs in the world could look like this. I think we'll just have to make do with what we've got. You are strong enough, aren't you? You were able to demolish that box just now. Can you carry me as far as Seastone? Right then. The Archmage. Murdered? By Wilbur Weathervane? There's something strange afoot, Cheap. Mark my words. I don't believe a word of it. Someone's responsible for this epidemic and someone wants to hurt our friends. Away to Seastone.
My name is Weathervane, Professor Weathervane.
You want to teach us?
Well, yes. Why not?
You're a gnome! Gnomes can't do magic!
I can, and have. During my mage training, yes?
My mother also says that you should not be a teacher. But I think you're great, Professor.
Oh, thank you.
Say, Professor, what exactly is the magic constant? How long must Veritaserum mature? What can you tell us about ancient magic runes?
You seem to really know a lot about magic.
More than you, anyway. Maybe we should switch places.
Maybe you should shut your... we never talked to teachers like that in my day.
Well, we do in mine. We'd like to have answers to our questions.
How about you sit down properly first?
Nope.
Nope? That's no professor. Or, more properly, yes, Professor.
Nope means yes, Professor. That's going to cause some misunderstandings. We want to learn something.
I will answer all your questions, but not now. It's time for History of Magic.
Then I have a history question. As everyone knows, gnomes are completely incompetent when it comes to magic. To be exact, only one great gnome mage has appeared in the last 800 years. He defeated Gremar, the last of the great dragons. What was the name of that last great gnome mage?
He was called, sit down at your desk properly and don't ask stupid questions.
But don't they say there are no stupid questions, only stupid answers? And that there aren't supposed to be any bad students, only bad teachers?
I just need a drink of water. Frog in my throat.
Ha!
Oh man! Master Marcus warned me that the students would test me the first few hours, but this is a nightmare. I don't know all of these things. I know nothing. Easy, boy, easy. Think, Wilbur, think. It looked like this before I ever moved in. Generations of teachers must have left their stuff here. I like it. The school has a history, and when I have time, I'll rummage through it. Master Marcus and the Archmage were so busy rebuilding the city that no one had the opportunity to teach me anything about teaching. This box was in a shop window down in the city. I thought it might be useful. After all, there are children with magic wands on it. But unfortunately, it just seems to be a bunch of those tricks, like that old one with Mr. Wupperman, the top hat and the rabbit. Short white rope, pair of dice, playing cards, and a guide on how to lead people up the garden path. That's just not right. Real magic or none at all. A bowl of fresh, cool water for my roommate. Mages use balls like this to communicate over long distances. Master Marcus explained it to me. He'll know how I can tame those unruly students. So, what was that number again? 64731?
Hello.
Ah! Oh, wrong number! I can't remember Master Marcus's number. I had it written in my notebook. The teddy is just, a keepsake and some moral support from home. Soft and cuddly moral support. This is Fridolin, my rabbit sheep. I had to cast the transformation spell during my mage training, and this is the result. I think we make a good team. A young mage and his rabbit sheep fighting side by side as a force for good. Unfortunately, Fridolin doesn't do much other than lay in bed and eat. I still have to convince him it's important. Well, buddy? What are you eating there? Hey, that's my notepad. There's no way I'm taking a bowl with me. I mean, how am I supposed to put a bowl of water into my pocket without getting my robe soaking wet? It's not like I can just carry anything around. But I could use the bowl here in the room. Do you want some water, Fridolin? He seems to be hungry more than anything. The entire school building is a bit scary. No one knows exactly where it was the last 20 years. It disappeared overnight and then reappeared just as suddenly once the war ended. There's a lot of magic in these old walls. The stove is always on, for example, and even though I've never put any wood in it. A magical stove is a fine thing in winter, but in the summer, this small room could quickly become sweltering. Ow! That stone is definitely more than just warm. A few of the crates and boxes are labelled. Hands off. Property of the half-blood prince. Schrödinger. That box could hold a dead cat. Or not. can't be healthy in the long run for Fridolin to always eat parchment and old scrolls. Perhaps he'd like the pet food I bought. Okay, we'll do it like this. I'll give you some delicious pet food, and you give me my notebook back. Okay, buddy? All right, me first. Okay. Now give me my notebook, please. Hey, I thought we had a deal. Maybe you weren't quite clear in the conditions. Do you want some water, Fridolin? He seems to be hungry. Fridolin might prefer green grass or fresh carrots, but all I could find in the city was this pet food. This is my contract, signed by the Archmage. I'm the first teacher in the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, at least the first since the school reappeared. At first I didn't want to accept. I know almost nothing about magic. But Master Alistair said there are very few mages left, and I had completed mage training faster than anyone else. I was the right person for the job. I wanted to help and learn more about magic, so I agreed. Hopefully that was the right decision. I wouldn't want to disappoint Master Alistair. The bed is pretty cozy. It's so cozy that Fridolin is curled up in it. But that's okay. Friends share. And he lets me sleep at the foot end. Earlier, in a situation like this, I would have holed up in bed and hoped that everything would somehow take care of itself. But those days are gone. I'm a professor of magic, and I have to solve my own problems. The bed is pretty, but that's okay. These are the aviator goggles that my granddad gave me before my first trip to Seastone. Well, pair of aviator goggles. The original pair was lost when Grandad fired me out of the cannon. That's when I found out Grandad has a whole box of these goggles. Every time he tries to persuade some idiot to do something stupid, he makes a rousing speech and then hands over his old aviator goggles. My whole family stayed in the White Ridge Mountains. Why would they even want to come to Seastone? This isn't their world. Little Sydney can walk now and reach everything that's on the workbenches. That tripled her invention output. Meggie doesn't build battle robots anymore since the war is over. Now she's experimenting with computing machines, but Grandad said there's no future in it. It wasn't easy to tell them I'm not an engineer but a mage instead. Mum said she'd always suspected it. A beautiful golden-eared trumpet. One of my predecessors must have laid it up there. A very tall predecessor. Ah, my wand. The King of Thieves got it for me during my mage training. He and the other rats have been tirelessly helping to rebuild the city in recent months. They work closely with the Archmage, albeit mostly in secret. I still haven't figured out exactly how it works. Sometimes it performs the most amazing magic, and sometimes it can't even perform the simplest of tasks. Archmage Alistair has promised to have a look at it sometime. Maybe it has a loose connection or something. I've thought a few times about whether I should try to fully transform Fridolin into a sheep or back into a rabbit. But he seems to be quite happy the way he is, and I'm afraid that I might accidentally transform him into an elephant or a skunk or a dog. I still need that notepad. It has Master Marcus's number. Okay, fine. One more time. I give you proper food and you give me my... Ouch! Okay, fine. And now... You can't always just take it a friendship, you know? I still need that... Okay. Ouch! Okay, fine. And now... You can't always just... I don't know much about the history of magic. I wanted to read a book about it, but I couldn't find anything relevant in the whole school. Lure Fridlin away from my notepad. That's it. That's all there is. Hey, Fridlin, look! Food! All you have to do is hop over here and get it. Wow! My rabbit sheep has superpowers. But now the food is gone and Fridlin is still hungry. Ah, no wonder I didn't do it right. It says, space-saving instant dry food. Soak in water before feeding. Ah, crap. How about some water to wash the food down? That's what I thought. Food was pretty dry, right? See how well I take care of you? Then maybe we could talk about my notebook. Oops. I'll read the instructions next time, promise. Sorry. It says, Master Marcus, only in emergencies, 64179. This is definitely an emergency. I'm losing my students' respect before I even had it. Well, 64179 and, 9. Hopefully this will work this time.
Yes? Hello?
Master Marcus!
Wilbur, what is it?
Well, there's this boy who's naughty and cheeky and he doesn't listen to me.
Wilbur, you're a teacher now. Of course the students are naughty and outrageous. You have to assert yourself.
I've only been a teacher for a few days and I'm all alone. And the school is eerie and there's no textbooks and no one wants to learn anything and...
Wilbur, no one expects you to be the perfect teacher right away. Wake your students' enthusiasm for magic. That would be a good start.
How can I inspire my students? I don't know anything about the history of magic.
Obviously not, otherwise you would know that you'll never attract anyone with that subject.
But it's in the curriculum.
Oh, bugger the curriculum. Do what you're good at. Cast spells. Fill them with wonder. Make them want to be able to do the same.
But I don't know how.
Wilbur, you conjured a sheep out of a hat, and you didn't know how to do that either. And you earned your mage diploma faster than any mage in history. Go out there and knock them dead. Let the magic do the work. You may not know what you're doing, but you're doing it.
Just do some magic.
Just do some magic.
Your brother called me a natural talent. I am really quite good at magic, right?
You did some incredible things during your training.
I just wish I could control the magic better. Sometimes it just bubbles out of me, and other times, nothing.
I think that will come with time. And if not, you will have to rely on your ingenuity.
Why do I have to teach it all alone? Why aren't there any other teachers?
Many mages died during the war. There are only a few of us left. And most of those who survived are now pursuing more lucrative activities. Alchemy, ghost hunting, children's birthday parties.
But training new mages is important. If the rest are just out for the gold, then who will take care of the next generation?
Being a teacher is an important and honourable task, Wilbur, even when others fail to appreciate that.
If it's such an important task, why aren't you teaching at this school?
Politics. My brother is the Archmage, and he's in the middle of an election campaign. If he were to give his own brother a job, well, his opponents would just love that. But I'm not angry. I did my part. I trained mages when no one else would. And I found the most talented gnome mage the world has ever seen.
Apparently there was a powerful gnome mage a long time ago. Did he kill any dragons?
According to legend, the last of the great dragons, Gremma, was defeated by a gnome.
That's the one I mean. What was that gnome's name?
No one knows. He arrived at a time of great need and saved the people of the Southlands by accomplishing the impossible. Then he disappeared without a trace.
Wow. But one of my students asked me for his name.
Then he probably wanted to lead you up the garden path. Some students want to find your weaknesses and see how far they can go. Don't take any guff.
Thanks for your help, Master Marcus. I'll get through the lesson one way or another, and now I'll get back in touch, okay?
Sorry, but no, Wilbur. You caught me packing. I'm off to spend 2 exciting weeks with a couple of friends.
What, you got on vacation? Well, now?
Maybe it's more than just a holiday. I sold the mage school, as you know. I want to start something new. Finally do what I really want to do. Role-playing games.
Role-playing games?
Live role-playing games. They start in a few days. We leave the normal world of magic, monsters and dungeons behind and immerse ourselves in a fantasy world. I play a removals contractor who is caught in a traffic jam with his truck and must therefore spend a night in a motel. Can you imagine what adventures could be waiting there for me?
But I thought being a teacher was really important, and...
That it is. Have fun.
Master Marcus! Hello! The way he looks at the moment, he could give Bertram the world's fattest hamster a run for his money. But he'll get back to normal. A short nap and he'll be right as rain. Come on, Wilbur. You can do it. You can inspire your students. That's better.
So what about the magic runes?
No one knows the name of the gnome that defeated Gremma. Nice try. Feet off the desk, or I'll make it bite them off. Enough with history of magic. Let's cast some spells. Fairy games. Doesn't sound bad, right?
impossible!
Not bad, eh? Wow! That is magic. And here you can learn how to control it. That's it for today. Tomorrow we'll do something else.
Oh, sorry, honey. Get rid of that, will you? I need a word with Mr. Weathervane. Mr. Weathervane, nice to finally meet you in person.
And you are?
How very precious. I rather thought it'd be wise to watch out for you, Mr. Weathervane.
Why watch out for me?
You only play the innocent little country yokel. I always knew that. Your patron, Archmage Alistair, will not win the election against me. Did you know that we're only 3 points behind him in the latest polls?
No, I wasn't aware of that. How may I help you?
Help me? Ha! One of the Archmage's top men wants to help me. You know how the game is played, don't you, Weathervane?
What game?
Things are heating up. The House of Cards is starting to collapse. I know it, and Alistair knows it too. We both lie low, waiting for the other to make a mistake. And he has made the first.
What mistake did the Archmage make?
He hired you. A gnome with a fake diploma issued by none other than the Archmage's brother Marcus.
I earned my diploma honestly. I have passed all 3 of the exams and...
Gnomes know nothing of magic. Everyone knows that. And you've never taught before.
But Archmage Alistair believes in me.
As the head mage, he appoints the professors. But I'm the merchant council leader and I assign the administrative posts. Headmaster Block will reveal your incompetence and the newspapers will report on the Archmage's dubious personnel policy before the election.
You shouldn't have just shot my fairy.
Do not underestimate me, Mr. Weathervane. I am very well aware that those are not fairies. Cobolus Vergastus, flying kobolds. Don't tell me you conjured them up yourself.
Yes, I did. All 5 of them.
Amazing! Powerful magic is needed to manifest living creatures. That is why most necromancers only reanimate skeletons. Dead matter can be much more easily controlled, as of course you know. Or should know.
The new headmaster, who is he?
Horatius Block. A good man, very correct and very strict.
If he can help this school return to its former glory, I look forward to working with him.
Former glory? This old ruin, it was already run down back in my day. And wherever it was for the last 20 years, it definitely looks like they didn't have any cleaners.
My friend, Archmage Alistair, is better suited to bring the city and the country back into shape than anyone else.
Oh, you believe that? He is a great mage. Anyone who doubts that is mad. And he was a great leader during the war, most of the time. But what we need now is someone who understands the economy.
And that's you?
I am a rich and successful merchant. I have rich and successful friends. Who could be better suited to making others rich and successful?
Alistair would step down for you if he believed that.
You know what? I actually believe you're right. Strange, isn't it? How little he worries about defending his power. He hardly does any campaigning, and, hang it all, he even gave up the artifact of divine fate.
He told us the easy way isn't always the best way.
Tell that to the people out there who have no work, no gold and no perspective. Tell them that they have to wait a little longer. It's hard to believe that he's still ahead of me in the polls.
So I guess it's all been said, hasn't it?
Indeed. You're on a sinking ship, Withervane, but I could still be convinced to throw you a life preserver.
I trust the Archmage.
Then, Mr. Withervane, you shall perish with him. Here, elect Sybil Van Buren. She knows how to get it done. Come along, honey, we're leaving.
There aren't any of these in my book of fairy tales, Mama.
I know, honey. Who wants to look at something that ugly?
Can you turn him into a unicorn, or the Cheshire Cat, or the Frog Prince?
Oh, most of the plants have dried up. No one looked after them. Only this plant must have found a water source somewhere. Perhaps one of the windows has a leak. When the school disappeared 20 years ago, obviously no one looked after the animals. Expected consequences, really. I don't need the whole skeleton, but a sharp-pointed bone like this might just prove useful. It appears they wanted to replicate the fish's natural habitat as exactly as possible, including miniature treasure chests, just like the ones frequently found in the sea. Hey, some old coins. Maybe one of my predecessors had a vicious fish guard his retirement fund. Archmage! Remy!
If it isn't our newest professor. How was your first class, Wilbur?
Great! I conjured up a few kobolds and the students loved it.
Ah, well done. That's the right thing to do. You've already pretty much won the battle, Wilbur. Once they want to learn, they will.
What brings you to the school?
I wanted to pay Horatius Block, the new headmaster, a first visit and see how the school's doing.
That's very nice of you. But don't you have more important things to do?
Well, it's my old school. I once walked these halls as a child myself.
What the Archmage doesn't want to tell you is that something is wrong here. For a few days she has sensed the presence of something evil.
What do you mean you sense something evil?
Everything we do and think leaves a trace. You know how you sometimes shudder when you enter a place where great evil has been done? Dark magic leaves a particularly strong trace, like a bad smell.
And it smells like dark magic around here?
I first felt it a few days ago. First in the lower town, then in the upper town, and now here at the school.
Where did it come from? I mean, do you know who's responsible?
I don't. The trace dissipates. There is too much wild magic in the air here at the school.
We must keep our eyes open at all times. Good detective work will serve us better in this case than some hocus pocus.
So what's he like, the new headmaster?
He's no mage, that's for certain.
He is an agent of the council leader.
First and foremost, he is a reliable official with principles, Remy. The council leader of the merchants did appoint him, and he may advocate her policies. Yet I do not believe he will conspire against us. He is stern, but upright.
Did you see the way he looked at me? Like I was vermin. No, I tell you. The council leader has hired him for one reason and one reason only. He is supposed to make life difficult for our Wilbur here.
Am I being set up to fail so they can put the blame on you, Archmage?
Ah, if that's their plan, then they have already lost. You won't fail, Wilbur. You never do.
Well, if you say so. How's the campaign coming along? I hope we're winning.
We're still in the lead.
But our margin is shrinking. Van Buren's bigwig cronies are throwing tons of gold into her election campaign.
And the Archmage, that old fool, doesn't do enough for the election campaign, eh, Remy?
You could say that. If we let those moneybags take over the city and the country, we can just kiss all our grand plans goodbye.
How are things in the town? Have things calmed down?
Not really. The barricades are getting higher and the camp is getting larger.
People are getting impatient, and who could blame them? The war is over, yet everyone is doing worse and worse.
But you're doing your best, Archmage.
It takes time, Wilbur. The deeper the wounds, the longer they need to heal. And nothing causes deeper wounds than war.
We must deliver results. Most still trust Alistair, but the mood could swing. Then we would not only lose the election, we would have a riot on our hands. Van Buren and Acronis are leaving no stone unturned in their efforts to make that happen. They sow discord wherever they can.
We have no evidence, Rainey.
My rats will get you your evidence, Archmage.
The council chairman was here. She picked up her daughter from my class.
Ah, terrible person.
She has great influence, and she has friends in high places.
She could also use her influence to do good, too. So why is she trying to bring you down?
She believes that that would be a good thing, Wilbur. Almost no one wants to do evil. There are just very different views on what is evil and what is good.
Whatever you do is always good.
Thank you, Wilbur. Let's hope that people think the same way during the election.
I think I'll go see the headmaster. Goodbye, Archmage. Bye, Remy.
Goodbye, Wilbur. Don't let them intimidate you.
I'll do my best, and I won't give up.
I know.
You go on ahead. I'll be along in a minute. I want to talk to you in private, Wilbur. There are problems.
That bit about dark magic all over the city does not sound good.
It's not just that. I think the Archmage's life is in danger.
What?
There was an attack, or there may have been one. Alistair insists it was a coincidence, but how often do heavy gargoyles just break off the mage tower when he is standing below them? His political opponents, the shadows, the anarchists down in the city, many want to see him dead.
What can we do?
I have assigned as many rats as I can spare to guard him, but you must also keep your eyes open, Leader.
Me?
Not only is something going on in the city, something is happening in the school too. We need information. We need to find out who is behind all this.
What, so I'm supposed to spy?
Just keep your eyes open whenever you're doing something for the school.
I hear Alistair's finally appointed you head of the Secret Service. From King of Thieves to high public office, eh?
Absolutely. Made quite a stir. It is the first time a rat has ever officially held an official government position.
Well, no one could be more perfect for the job.
My thanks. Even though some see it differently. More than a few are of the opinion that with so many humans out of work, rats should not receive any jobs at all.
But nobody knows the city like you rats do. You really helped me out during my last adventure. You brought me potion ingredients and my fantastic magic wand.
And you saved Timmy and my entire clan from starvation. We'll never forget that, Wilbur Weathervane.
Timmy was a great help during my first lesson this morning.
Yes, he has done well. He absolutely wants to be a mage, just like his role model.
Just like the Archmage.
No, just like the hero of the Black Tower. For Timmy and many others, you are one of the heroes who ended the war.
Oh, me? Then it's best I talk to the headmaster and ask him what I should do for him.
Whatever it is, just do it and act inconspicuous. But keep your eyes open for anything unusual while you do so. Well, things that look unusual even in an enchanted mage school.
Got it.
Why don't we meet down at the inn after work? Then we can exchange news.
Oh, I just hope Headmaster Block doesn't keep me busy all night.
Oh, you'll be fine. You defeated the Shadow Army. Never forget that.
Yeah, just back then I wasn't alone.